Pension deal with the Assembly is passed. By the way, it passed overwhelmingly, unanimously last night. They're hoping the Senate is going to put a bill together. What do we know about that so far? They're still in session, right? I mean,
they're still in session. I thought it had ended overnight,
extended.
but no, it has continued.
So the New York Assembly has passed a bill to strip pensions from corrupt public officials. And you'll see in the story a picture of the lovely Sheldon Silver and Dean Skelos. They, of course, are disgraced individuals, and this is what really has inspired this whole thing.
Say cheese. But by the way, I wonder if can they retroactively do that? Can they go back and take it away? I don't think they can.
Therein lies my little piece of news here.
If I stole that from you.
I was just about to say it. And the sad thing of this is that Skelos and Silvers will both continue to collect their pensions because this all happened before. It's going to have to be from the point of the passage of the bill. So if the Senate passes it and this whole thing goes and signed into law, then anyone going forward would have their pension stripped. The thing that's going on though with I believe with the bill is that the Senate wants a broader bill than the Assembly has passed. And if I'm correct, what they're doing is that only elected, this was the Assembly bill, only elected officials, gubernatorial appointees, municipal managers, department heads, chief fiscal officers, judges, and government policymakers would be subject to the penalty if convicted. But the Senate leaders would like to see something that would be much broader and cover many other state employees. So it is a little bit difficult because when you think of something, let's say you've worked Remington Arms your whole life, and you've committed a crime, they're not going to take away your pension, or your Remington pension.
Right.
I think that it should be associated. The crime should be associated with using your position to gain advantage of some sort. Right.
I absolutely agree.
It should be associated with your job. I would think. Just
like I'll say, like Bernie Madoff, or if you're a drug dealer, right? The cops or the government can take what they feel like you've earned from that illegal activity. They use their positions. They were convicted of using their positions illegally for power and corruption. It just seems like common sense that you would take that away. Like, you don't need a separate bill to say, okay, that drug dealer got busted, now we're going to take his money. I could be wrong on that, but it just seems common sense.
Someone's asking, no, this does not include the county dog catcher. If the county dog catcher gets into something, unless, of course, he's doing something on the job that involves, maybe
selling the dogs.
He's getting certain meds for dogs as part of the job, and he's taking him home for his own dog. I don't know, but either way, I don't think it affects that. But and it won't affect people like Elliot Spitzer and disgraced Sheldon Silver. And it doesn't affect them, which I'm not sure. I guess what you're saying is we could legally go back anyway. All right?
I don't know
that we could. Jesse Burns of The Hill, the debate is heating up. Of course, the Democrats filibuster over this past few days. They did a filibuster and really just wanted to see this gun bill hit, which would cause restrictions when it comes to gun shows and internet sales of guns, and also on that no-fly list. But it seems like things have turned and things have stalled. What do we know here this morning, Jesse?
Well, we know that the Senate on Monday is slated to begin votes on 4 different proposals on gun legislation, 2 from Republicans and 2 from Democrats. There is similar measures that have failed in the past, and so there's a lot of skepticism whether any of these proposals can reach the 60 votes necessary in the GOP-led Senate to actually pass. Democrats, the 2 proposals that they're pushing, one, expanding background checks for gun shows, making it mandatory there and online, and another one that they think that they maybe have a little bit better chance at in the Senate is denying firearms and explosives to those suspected of being terrorists, and that's one that they think they have a better shot at.
Do we really think that that saying to terrorists, all right, we're not going to allow you to get guns legally anymore, is that going to stop anything, change anything at all?
Well, it's tricky based on the different situations. In the Orlando shooting, for instance, that's pointed out that the gunman there was on the FBI's terror watch list in 2014.
Yeah.
But he was ultimately removed because authorities couldn't find evidence to keep him there. After they investigated him in another investigation, they interviewed him. So, in the individual circumstances, case by case, even Democrats acknowledge that, across the board proposal like one of these is not going to prevent all these types of shootings, but they at least, are using this as an opportunity to advance some type of legislation.
Granted, hindsight is 2020, but we hear stories about people going on watch lists or no-fly lists who have done nothing wrong, and they can't get off the list.
Yeah.
We had a terrorist on the list, and somehow we were able to take him off, but other people can't.
Yeah. The list seems to be flawed, and that's part of the problem. And the NRA is saying, listen, this is going to affect many innocent Americans who are mistakenly on the list. Here's something I've heard a lot of people who are gun owners and Second Amendment supporters who seem to, at least in New York, because we're so used to the background check here, seem to be okay with the background check and thoughts that maybe we'll be able to, most likely it'll only be the mentally ill, somebody who's mentally disturbed. Others probably would be clever enough to be able to maneuver around the rules and regulations. But one of the things my father was complaining about with the background check here in New York is he said, I go over on Tuesday, I purchase a gun, I have to fill out all the paperwork, do the entire background check. The following week, I go back and purchase another gun. I've got to go through the very same procedure all over again. And it takes time. It delays everything. It is annoying. And I guess the question would be, why do it to the same person within 2 weeks? It doesn't seem to make any sense.
Well, and with these background check pieces, of course, I think going back here's 3 years since Congress has done anything related to this, going to 2013. So there have been obviously multiple shootings since then, and the most recent, huge one connected to terrorism being San Bernardino. When these kind of similar proposals failed, at least the one regarding the terrorist watch list. So it's hard to see if any of these proposals will actually advance on Monday, or if we'll see some type of work on a bipartisan basis to mix some of these together.
All right, Jesse. Thanks for the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Did we say something that upset him?
I don't know. I didn't seem to get anything out of that conversation. What the hell
You never,
is that
and I
about?
think we've had good interviews with him in the
We
past.
We have, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe I said something, or somebody said, you said something, and he was like,
What did I say?
every time we asked a question, he would just kind of pause.
He just seemed distracted.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
He did. He sounded distracted.
Yeah, that was a wasted 3 minutes. Here's we could have talked about. We actually was just surmising. It's like, well, they might do this, they might do that. What did we learn there? I didn't think I learned anything. Although I did learn from my father yesterday, and to me, this is worth talking about. So why is it that you have to go through, and maybe somebody can explain this to me, you do the background check on Monday, and you want to buy a gun on Thursday, you got to do a background check all over again. Just seems to be a waste, a giant waste, and ridiculous. Not only a waste for the people who are trying to buy the gun, but you're wasting resources. So you're putting human beings on a job that has already been dealt with. It's already been just days before. It's already been cleared. Why would you need it? Is something going to happen between Monday and Thursday that my father has done that would then prevent them to say, oops, now you're not going to be able to get a gun?
The fact that it's so close is puzzling to me. It does make sense to me that, like, if you got a gun in 2008 and then maybe somewhere along the way you're radicalized, and then now it's 2012
or even
or something.
within like 18 months or a year.
Right.
Or
There
something
This
should
was
like
be.
that.
days. This
Yeah,
was days.
that does not seem...
Doesn't make any sense to me. 7:20, here's Christine Bellino.